Hello everyone, the purpose of making this video is to talk about this book which is called The Creator Confession. It is authored by me, Azrulak Sario, and it is available for sale on worldwide stores like Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Google Play Books, Apple Books and many other stores. So let's start what is in this book. The Creator's Confession, The Hidden Cost of Sovereign Debt. This presentation unpacks how sovereign debt has evolved into a modern empire, one where power can no longer flow from armies or colonies but from contracts, ratings, and credit lines. Across continents, this invisible machinery quietly transfers control from nations to their creditors, dictating economic choices and human destinies under the banner of financial reform. Conditionality, the price of survival. When a country accepts a bailout from the IMF or World Bank, it often surrenders part of its sovereignty. The conditions tied to these loans, austerity, privatization, and deregulation, reshape entire economies. Greece, Sri Lanka, and others learned that the promise of liquidity came with the cost of democracy itself, as foreign technocrats began writing domestic policy. Moral hazard, a rigged game. Global finance rewards the reckless and punishes the innocent. When banks lend carelessly, they are rescued. When families lose jobs and pensions, they are told to tighten their belts. This selective rescue creates a rigged system where profits are privatized but losses are socialized, ensuring that the rich never truly lose and the poor never truly recover. Odious debt, paying for oppression. Odious debt forces people to repay the crimes of their rulers. Dictators borrow to enrich themselves and repress their citizens, yet democratic governments that follow must honor those same debts to access global credit. It is a moral absurdity, victims paying for the chains that once bound them. The financial world calls this responsibility, the people call it injustice. The doom loop, when banks and states collapse together. In Greece, Ireland, and Spain, banks were the largest holders of their own government bonds. When sovereigns faltered, banks fell. When banks fell, governments borrowed to save them. The rescue of one doomed the other. This doom loop revealed a dangerous truth that modern finance has tied nations and banks into a single fragile system where collapse is contagious. The human cost of debt. Debt is not just numbers on a balance sheet, it is the closing of hospitals, the shuttering of schools, and the slow death of opportunity. In the name of fiscal discipline, lives are shortened, futures are sold, and communities crumble. Behind every austerity measure lies a family forced to choose between medicine and food. Greece, democracy for sale. The Greek crisis turned democracy into a supervised experiment under the Troika's control. Elected leaders became administrators of austerity. Entire laws were drafted in Brussels and simply translated into Greek. What began as an economic rescue ended as a lesson in submission, showing that in a globalized economy, wars count less than bond yields. Argentina, the endless cycle of austerity. Argentina's history reads like a recurring nightmare: austerity, revolt, default, and return. The 2001 Corralito crisis broke public trust. The 2018 IMF bailout reignited all wounds, and Javier Milei's 2023 shock therapy tested the nation's limit once again. Each attempt at reform promises renewal but ends in greater despair. proving that pain without justice only multiplies the suffering. Zimbabwe, the collapse of money itself. In Zimbabwe, debt and desperation led to the printing press. Trillions of worthless notes flooded the market, turning wages into paper illusions. The economy collapsed, savings evaporated, and trust in the state disintegrated. Hyperinflation taught the world that when governments destroy money to pay debt, they destroy the very fabric of society. Sri Lanka, the debt trap myth. Sri Lanka's crisis is often called a Chinese debt trap, but the truth is more complex. Decades of borrowing from global markets and Western institutions created a dependency that no single creditor caused. The Hambantota port was not a symbol of foreign trickery but of a world where every lender writes its own convenient narrative. Jamaica, the austerity laboratory. Jamaica spent decades as a testing ground for IMF orthodoxy. Reforms were implemented, budgets balanced, yet growth stagnated and inequality deepened. Stability came at the price of opportunity, turning the island into a textbook example of structural adjustment can stabilize numbers while destabilizing lives. Ecuador, nature as a collateral. In Ecuador, debt repayments were financed by drilling deeper into the Amazon, sacrificing nature to satisfy creditors. Every barrel of oil pumped was a payment toward foreign obligation, not domestic developments. The forest became collateral and the biodiversity was burned for solvency. So let's read it. Slide 12. Ecuador, nature's collateral. In Ecuador, debt repayments were financed by drilling deeper into the Amazon, sacrificing nature to satisfy creditors. Every barrel of oil pumped was a payment toward foreign obligation, not domestic development. The forest became collateral and diversity was burned for solvency. Debt in this case did not just consume wealth, it consumed the planet. Nigeria and Zambia, the resource paradox. These nations are rich in oil and copper, yet poor in prosperity. Their wealth became a curse when resource revenues fed corruption. While fluctuating prices fueled more borrowing, the promise of abundance turned into dependency, revealing how global markets can turn natural blessings into fiscal traps. Mozambique, the hidden debt scandal. Mozambique's secret loans hidden from the public plunged the nation into crisis. Billions were borrowed without consent, and when the scandal surfaced, the citizens bore the cost. Schools and hospitals were stripped of funds while offshore accounts thrived. This is the dark phase of sovereign debt, corruption protected by complexity. Japan, the silent burden of an aging nation. Japan's crisis is not explosive but suffocating. Its massive internal debt is sustained by an aging, shrinking population. Fewer workers must support more retirees. Innovation slows under the weight of obligation. Japan's quiet struggle shows that debt can be lethal even when it doesn't collapse, a slow erosion rather than a sudden fall. Rwanda, finance before peace. Before genocide, Rwanda endured economic adjustment programs that deepened inequality and dismantled social protections. Debt and austerity eroded the fragile cohesion of a divided nation. When financial policies ignore human realities, they can turn tension into tragedy, a warning that numbers can kill long before weapons do. A global pattern. From Europe to Africa to Asia, the pattern repeats. Debts are incurred, austerity follows, and human suffering is justified as economic necessity. Sovereign debt has become the architecture of quiet domination, a system that rewards compliance and punishes independence, ensuring the global order remains tilted toward creditors. The myth of responsibility. The narrative of fiscal responsibility blames poor nations for their misfortune while absolving lenders who profit from risk. This moral inversion keeps the cycle alive. Crises are not accidental, they are profitable. Every collapse opens new markets for rescue loans, consultants, and privatization. The business of saving is itself a business. The true confession. Debt has replaced empire, where colonialism once used soldiers, finance now use spreadsheets. The empire of debt governs quietly, permanently, without ever declaring war. Through contracts and ratings, it commands obedience not by force but by fear of default. The world is free in law, yet indebted in debt. In fact, the call for moral finance. The final confession is a plea for reform, a demand for moral finance. The author argues that justice, not forgiveness, must guide the next global order. Debt should serve humanity, not enslave it. The future depends on building systems where economies grow without eroding dignity and where nations can rise without selling their souls. This presentation is from the book called The Creditor Confession, a global, this is subtitle, a global inquiry into the true cost of sovereign debt. It is written by me, and the author name is Azhar Laksaro. This is the Amazon product page of this book. This is the book cover, and this is the ebook price is 5.99 and the paperback is 25.99. You can buy it from all around the world, and I hope you will enjoy reading this book and enjoyed this presentation. This presentation is made just from this book only, not from other sources. Thank you so much.